Got it. So you're saying Diddy's an FBI informant, and he's been one for many years.
That's what they say. Nothing never happens, but it's still, like I said, agent.
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his trial, which he has pleaded not guilty for.
The world of hip-hop has been rocked by an explosive revelation. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful figures in the industry, has been arrested, and the charges against him are shaking the very foundation of his empire. But that's not all. From behind bars, the notorious Suge Knight has emerged once again to deliver shocking claims about Diddy that might just change everything you thought you knew. You're not going to believe what Suge is saying now. Buckle up, because this is one story you won't want to miss.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
Let's start with the arrest itself. Diddy's run-in with the law is big news, but the details of the charges are still coming to light. What we do know is that his arrest wasn't some minor incident. We're talking serious, career-ending accusations that could land him behind bars for years. The entire hip-hop community is buzzing, trying to piece together exactly what went down. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. While the headlines are focused on Diddy's legal troubles, Suge Knight has decided now is the perfect time to speak out. And what he's saying is nothing short of jaw-dropping.
Federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Suge, who is currently serving a 28-year sentence at the R. J. Donovan Correctional Facility, seems to have plenty to say from behind those prison walls. And believe us, he's not holding back. In his new podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, the former Death Row Records mogul is using his platform to drop bombshell after bombshell after bombshell about his old rival. From the very first episode, Suge made it clear that he's not here to play nice, especially when it comes to Diddy. In fact, Suge's latest claims could be the final nail in the coffin for Diddy's once untouchable career.
That boy life is dangerous. His life doesn't, he just not dangerous with the they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He knows too much.
For years, rumors have swirled about Diddy's involvement in some dark dealings behind the scenes, but no one has ever come forward with concrete proof. Well, Suge seems to think it's time the truth comes out. During a recent episode of his podcast, Suge flat out claimed that Diddy has been hiding things from the FBI for years. That's right. According to Suge, Diddy's not just in trouble for the current charges he's facing. No, it goes much deeper than that. Suge believes that Diddy had been working with the FBI, feeding them information in exchange for protection. And if that's true, it's a massive betrayal to the hip-hop community.
But listen, thing I'm going to tell you. We from 2 different worlds, number 1, him and I. Number 2, I'm the guy they didn't want to invite to those parties, and I'm glad of it. I've never been happy to be left out of my life. But at the same time,
Suge alleges that Diddy's been playing both sides all along, positioning himself as a streetwise entrepreneur while secretly cozying up to law enforcement. Now, if you've been following the history between these 2 men, you know this isn't the first time Suge has thrown accusations Diddy's way. Their beef goes back decades, rooted in the East Coast V's West Coast rivalry that dominated the 90s. But these latest claims take things to a whole new level. Suge's implying that Diddy's success wasn't just a product of his talent and business savvy. It was built on manipulation, deception, and, worst of all, cooperation with the very people that hip-hop has historically resisted.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
And that's not even the most shocking part. Suge went even further, suggesting that Diddy's relationship with powerful figures in the music industry might be more personal than professional. Suge dropped a bombshell when he hinted that Diddy has been involved in a secret relationship with none other than Clive Davis, one of the biggest names in the music business. According to Suge, Diddy has been under Davis's thumb for years, and this relationship is the key to understanding Diddy's rise to power, and possibly even his downfall.
We know some of the big names. I'm just curious if you have any names. You don't seem like somebody...
Well, number 1 was Clive Davis.
Now, we all know Clive Davis is a titan in the music industry, credited with discovering and mentoring some of the biggest stars in the world. But what Suge is implying goes beyond mere mentorship. He's hinting at something much more personal, something that could explain how Diddy has managed to stay on top for so long, despite all the scandals and controversies that have surrounded him over the years. Suge is basically saying that Diddy's career wasn't just about talent. It was about who he was willing to cozy up to behind closed doors.
Well, I certainly view everything he's saying with a lot of suspicion, right? I mean, he was in an interrogation in 2009 and offered this information up. And if he's truly involved in the Tupac, he's looking to throw anything out there, to throw mirrors out there to deflect the accusations against.
But coming from Suge, a man who's been at the heart of hip-hop's biggest power struggles, these accusations feel different. There's a weight to them, a sense that maybe, just maybe, Suge knows more than he's letting on.
It has taken countless hours, really decades, of work by the men and women of our homicide section to get to where we are today.
But wait, Suge didn't stop there. In the same podcast episode, he made yet another jaw-dropping claim. Diddy is being controlled by secret forces within the music industry. Suge hinted that there are powerful people pulling the strings, manipulating Diddy's every move to protect their own interests. This isn't just about Diddy's current arrest. It's about a much bigger conspiracy. Suge seems to believe that Diddy is nothing more than a pawn in a larger game, and the people who are really in control have been keeping him in check for years.
Problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
This idea of Diddy being controlled by shadowy figures isn't exactly new. There have been whispers about the power dynamics in the music industry for decades. But hearing it from Suge, a man who's seen it all, gives these rumors a whole new level of credibility. And if Suge's right, it raises some serious questions about how much of Diddy's career has been his own doing and how much has been orchestrated by those behind the scenes. And here's the kicker. Suge doesn't think Diddy's arrest is just a coincidence. According to Suge, this is all part of a larger plan to take Diddy down once and for all. He believes that the same people who helped Diddy rise to the top are now turning against him, using the current legal situation as an excuse to cut him loose. Suge's theory is that Diddy has outlived his usefulness, and now the powers that be are ready to let him fall. It's a wild claim, but coming from Suge, it's hard not to wonder if there's some truth to it. As if all of this wasn't enough, Suge ended the episode by teasing even darker allegations about Diddy's past, hinting that the worst is yet to come. He ain't go into detail, but he made it clear that there are more secrets waiting to be uncovered, secrets that could change everything we thought we knew about Diddy and his role in the hip-hop world. According to Suge, this is just the beginning, and what's coming next could make Diddy's current legal troubles look like child's play.
This is a case that it's going to take some nuance, that's for sure.
The tension is palpable, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If Suge's right, Diddy's entire career could come crashing down, taking the rest of the hip-hop industry with it. And let's be honest, there's no one better positioned to make these claims than Suge Knight. After all, he's been there since the beginning, watching from the sidelines as Diddy built his empire. Now, from his prison cell, Suge is pulling back the curtain on everything that's been hidden for years.
Well, it's a cold case. It's been lingering for 27 years.
But the real question is, how much of this can we believe? Suge Knight is no stranger to controversy, and he certainly had his fair share of run-ins with the law. But that doesn't mean he's lying. In fact, Suge's history with Diddy adds an extra layer of intrigue to his claims. These two men have been locked in a power struggle for decades, and now it seems like Suge is ready to finish what he started. Whether he's telling the truth or just stirring the pot, one thing's for sure, Suge's revelations are sending shockwaves through the industry, and everyone is waiting to see what happens next. As Suge himself said on his podcast, people think they know story, but they don't know half of it. And with Diddy now facing serious legal charges, it seems like the time for those secrets to come out has finally arrived. Could this be the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's most powerful figures? Or is there more to the story that we haven't uncovered yet? Either way, one thing is certain, this saga is far from over.
He's the only witness that's tying Puff to the Pac thing. The only witness that's alive.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, Suge dropped one final bombshell. In a cryptic statement, he hinted that Diddy might have been involved in something even darker, something connected to the demises of two of hip-hop's biggest icons. That's right, Suge is now suggesting that Diddy played a role in the tragic demises of Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. But how much of this is just Suge stirring up old rumors, and how much of it is grounded in truth?
And that he is currently under fire, I think it now leads some credence to what people have been saying for years about Sean Diddy Combs and how he moves and how he operates. But whether it's true or not, we need more evidence, more people to confirm, and more facts that tie in from an investigative standpoint that these allegations and accusations could be accurate.
As if Suge Knight's recent revelations about Diddy weren't enough to make your jaw drop, the next bombshell has set the entire hip-hop community ablaze. Suge's not stopping at Diddy's alleged behind-the-scenes manipulations or shadowy industry connections. No, he's pointing to something even darker, something that has haunted hip-hop for decades: the tragic and unsolved demises of Shakur and the notorious B.I.G.
So why do you think they tie a Diddy name to it?
Because it makes the East Coast and West Coast war works for the authorities and for the news media. Didn't no cops do that. It was an East Coast, West Coast war, and it was a drive-by shooting. It was never no damn drive-by shooting.
Now, we all know the stories surrounding these two icons. Shakur gunned down in Las Vegas in 1996 and Biggie shot just 6 months later in Los Angeles. Both of these demises sent shockwaves across the world, and to this day, neither case has officially been solved. Over the years, countless theories have emerged, with fans, journalists, and even insiders speculating on what really happened. But now, Suge Knight is reigniting these flames by claiming that Diddy's hands aren't clean in either of these tragedies.
Tupac Shakur is a music legend. And for a long time, this community and worldwide have been wanting justice for Tupac. Today, we are taking that first step.
People were starting to say it's an East Coast, West Coast rivalry because it was people that's trying to make money. It was true people trying to make careers. It was people trying to get famous.
Let's dive right in. Suge is suggesting that Diddy may have had a direct role in orchestrating Shakur's downfall. Sounds outrageous, right? But before you dismiss it, let's take a look at the long, complicated history between these two powerhouses. Back in the 90s, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry was at its peak. Shakur was signed to Death Row Records, Suge's label, while Diddy was running the show over at Bad Boy Records with Biggie as his star artist. It wasn't just about music. It was about power, influence, and who would dominate the rap scene. Tensions were already high, but things took a dark turn after Shakur was shot and wounded in a New York City recording studio in 1994. Shakur survived, but the event left him shaken and angry. And who did he point the finger at? None other than Diddy and Biggie. That's when things really began to spiral out of control. Shakur believed that Diddy had set him up, that he and Biggie had prior knowledge of the ambush, and they just let it happen. Now, Suge is stepping up to back these claims, saying Diddy wasn't just an innocent bystander. He was deeply involved.
I hope the Vegas Police Department do their due diligence and get down to the bottom of it.
According to Suge, Diddy didn't just know about the attack on Shakur, he actually paid for it. That's right, Suge claims that Diddy put a price on Shakur's head, allegedly paying the Crips a hefty sum to take him out. This isn't a new theory, but Suge is bringing it back into the spotlight at a moment when Diddy's reputation is already hanging by a thread. The idea that Diddy could have been involved in such a plot is both shocking and plausible, especially when you consider how high the stakes were back in the mid-90s. There's even more to this theory. Suge says that Diddy didn't act alone. He had help. One name that's been circulating for years is Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis, a former member of the Crips who has claimed in interviews that he was in the car when Shakur was shot. Keefe D. has gone on record saying that Diddy had offered him a substantial sum of money to take out both Shakur and Suge Knight in a single hit. Suge Knight survived, but Shakur wasn't so lucky. And now, decades later, Suge is using his platform to put this theory back into the spotlight, suggesting that Diddy's arrest could finally bring the truth to light.
This could potentially be a diversion, turning an investigation or a trial into a circus. And it's, when you do that, it's easier to get a dismissal. Ask Alec Baldwin. But the judge has already accused attorneys for Davis of shaping media attention about the case involving, as you know, one of hip-hop's most fascinating mysteries, saying it seems like your end goal here is to make some kind of show.
What's wild is that this theory isn't just based on street rumors. It's something that law enforcement has been looking into for years. In fact, Keefe D himself has been interviewed multiple times by police, and he's even said in his book that Diddy was behind the hit. But here's the kicker. Keefe D was granted immunity for his confession, meaning he won't face any charges for his role in the crime. So where does that leave Diddy? Could Suge's claims lead to a reopening of the investigation? Could Diddy finally be held accountable for his alleged involvement?
Any case that's 27 years old sometimes presents some challenges, but we feel very confident that the criminal justice system will work in this case.
Now, let's not forget the other side of the coin, Biggie's tragic passing. While Suge is pointing fingers at Diddy for Shakur's fate, many believe that Suge himself may have had a hand in Biggie's demise. But Suge isn't shying away from this topic either. In fact, he's flipping the script entirely, suggesting that Diddy might have been involved in both cases. According to Suge, Diddy's reach extended far beyond the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, and his influence could have played a role in the events leading to Biggie's untimely end.
He filed a report, but they threw it up under the cops swept it up under the rug and everything like that. So,
Biggie's demise has long been a mystery, with countless theories swirling around about who was responsible. Some believe it was retaliation for Shakur's passing, while others think it was a result of bad blood between various gangs. But Suge's take is a little more sinister. He's suggesting that Diddy's involvement in Biggie's demise was part of a much larger plan, one designed to protect Diddy's own interests and cover up any loose ends.
I'm not the guy who's here for Puffy's downfall, but I am the guy who supports the victims who got victimized.
Think about it. If the theory that Diddy orchestrated Shakur's attack is true, wouldn't he want to distance himself from anyone who might expose him? Biggie was one of Diddy's closest associates, and he was there during the height of the East Coast-West Coast feud. Could Diddy have seen Biggie as a threat? Someone who knew too much and could potentially bring him down? Suge certainly seems to think so, and he's using his podcast to push this narrative to the forefront.
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
What's even more chilling is the evidence that's emerged over the years linking both cases together. Numerous detectives who worked on the investigations into Shakur and Biggie's demises have said there were clear connections between the two. Some have even gone on record, saying they believe the same people were involved in orchestrating both homicides. And now, with Suge's recent statements, the theory that Diddy was pulling the strings behind the scenes is gaining more traction than ever. But here's the real kicker. Suge is claiming that Diddy's recent arrest could be just the beginning. According to Suge, there are still secrets to be uncovered, and the truth about what really happened to Shakur and Biggie may finally come to light. Suge believes that Diddy's arrest isn't just about the current charges he's facing. It's part of a larger reckoning, one that could expose the darker side of the music industry and the people who have been pulling the strings for years.
Now, Combs has long denied any involvement with Tupac's. He's never been charged. Our question this morning, how believable is Keefe D's Diddy accusation?
Suge's statements have raised some serious questions. Could Diddy's legal troubles open the door for a deeper investigation into the demises of Shakur and Biggie? Are we finally going to get the answers we've been waiting for all these years? Suge certainly thinks so, and he's not backing down. In fact, he's made it clear that he's ready to reveal even more shocking details in the coming week. It's no secret that Suge and Diddy have had a long-standing rivalry, and these recent claims are only adding fuel to the fire. But as Suge continues to speak out from prison, it's becoming harder to ignore the possibility that there may be some truth to what he's saying. After all, Suge was there. He was in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast feud. He was there when Shakur was shot, and he's been connected to the industry's biggest players for decades. If anyone has the inside scoop, it's him. And let's not forget, Suge isn't the only one making these claims. Over the years, numerous people close to the situation have come forward with their own stories, pointing fingers at Diddy and suggesting that there's more to the story than meets the eye. Even some of Diddy's former associates have hinted that he was involved in shady dealings behind the scenes. So while it might be easy to dismiss Suge's claims as the rantings of a man behind bars, the reality is that these accusations have been swirling for years.
There's no punishment if they protected by the road, the judge, the DA.
But the real question is, what happens next? With Diddy's legal troubles mounting, is there a chance that law enforcement will take another look at the Shakur and Biggie cases? Could Suge's latest revelations finally lead to justice for two of hip-hop's most beloved figures? Or is this just another chapter in the long and messy history of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry?
Rewriting history is trying to rewrite history.
One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Suge Knight has made it clear that he's not done talking, and if his recent statements are any indication, there's still plenty more to come. Whether or not you believe Suge's claims, one thing is undeniable. The world of hip-hop is watching closely, and everyone is waiting to see what happens next. Suge ended his latest podcast episode with a cryptic message. The truth always comes out one way or another. And with Diddy facing some of the most serious charges of his career, it seems like we might be on the verge of uncovering secrets that have been buried for far too long. Could this be the moment when everything finally comes to light? Could Diddy's downfall signal the end of an era in hip-hop and the beginning of a reckoning that's been years in the making? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.